Good afternoon, YouTube. This is my Craftsman C3 Hedge Trimmer, and then it takes one of the C3 batteries, either NiCad or this is lithium ion, and you got the trigger, safety switch here, and then right here you would normally have this handle, and you can see it mounts on there. It's got this kind of square part sticking out, and then the handle has this square recess. There's a little hole in the middle, and you normally screw the handle on because there used to be a hole right there. But the one thing I really never liked about this unit is this handle. The handle itself is really nice, but you can see the way it's designed, it's actually two pieces. There's a split line down here, and it's screwed together, and they probably did that to be able to injection mold this part because it's hollow. But if you can see here, here's the split line. This is where the hole used to be for that long screw that goes in, and they had a slot cut in here. I've subsequently filled that with some epoxy putty, so I've partially repaired this. But what happens is, right on this really tight corner, you've got the parting line there, a screw hole, and then you've got this huge notch cut in there, and right there it breaks. So this piece cracked right there, and that bend right there takes all the stress, because when you're cutting out in front, holding the weight here, the weight of the hedge trimmer is pulling down on this, and right there it just cracked. So what I did was I glued it back together, and then I've decided you really don't need these screws because this thing is really stiff and springy, and you have to spring it out to get over that square recess there. And once it snaps on there, it's on there. You don't need this screw. So what I did, like I said, I filled this with some epoxy putty I had, just to kind of give that area some strength. And then what I'm in the process of doing, I picked up some Kevlar kite string. So what I did was I started down here and wrapped the kite string around all the way up to here, and then I wrapped it all the way back, kind of going in between all of the gaps that I left on the outside, and then I tied that off right here. And now the idea is I'm going to do the other side here. And then what I did was I put the handle into the clipper there, traced the outside edge. In the back you're okay here because the thing doesn't go in very far, but this front edge, which is right here, is as far in as you can run this twine. So I have to start laying the twine on right about that line. You can't fit the handle in if you make it any fatter there, so you've got to watch that clearance. Okay, there we got the first wrap done. So what I do is keep the twine tight around the inside of the bend, and then you can see the outside has gaps. Now when I go back, I'll run the second wrap and fill those gaps in a little bit like I did on the other side, and then tie it off. And what I did to start too is I just tied a double knot in there, and then I put a little bit of adhesive down and let that dry so that the twine wouldn't spin on there as you pulled it tight. Once you get a few wraps on, it stays down pretty good. So let me go back, we'll clean off the end, and we should be ready to put some resin on this. Okay, we're going to start putting some polyester resin on there. Not sure how much I need. I mixed up, I think, about 2 ounces here. So we're just going to saturate the Kevlar twine. So let me come back here when I'm done. I gotta go before this stuff hardens on me. It's pretty warm today. Okay, yeah, put the polyester resin on there and left it out in the sun for a few hours. I think it cured up nice. So I have a few spots where I think it dripped a little bit. And there's a bit of a rough spot there. Just down a little bit there. Let's see. Yeah, right there is another spot. Another drip right there. That might have been where I had the knot tied. And then, yeah, right there is another drip. I'll just get that smoothed out. Yeah, I think that does it. So what I'm going to do now is give this a coat of paint, because you got to protect the bare resin. The polyester resin doesn't like a UV exposure, so I think I'll just hit it with a couple coats of paint. So there we go, a couple of coats of flat black paint, and I think we're good to go. Let's see if we can get it in there. Yeah, so you have to gently spread it here. Get it up over, oh. There we go. And then rotate it into position, and there it is. Let me throw a battery in here and see how it feels. One thing I like about this trimmer is it's very well balanced on the handle. So with a battery in there, it sits just a little nose high. So I might have to fire this up either tonight or tomorrow. I got some hedge trimming out in the front of the house, and then also some bushes in the back that could use a trim, and now I've got my handle fixed. Because I think the last time I was using it, it broke, and then I kind of glued it back together and was using it for a year or so after that. You had to be really careful not to put any tension on there, because you could snap the glued repair down there. And so then I finally decided to wrap it with some Kevlar and put a little resin over it and some paint, and you can hardly tell it was repaired. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed that repair. If you have one of these and the handle's broken, it's pretty easy to repair it. And I think the repaired handle is probably 5 times stronger than the original one. So yeah, I'll put some of my other Craftsman power tool videos over here on the left side. And as always, thanks for watching.